we own some shit, I'ma call it like it is. How you gonna be a man and we starving? Go ahead. You know? And you can walk by 5 different houses, ain't a man in either one of them motherfuckers. How we gonna be a man? How we gonna be African Americans? We out here dying. We thugs and we niggas until we set this shit right. Trust me when I tell you that shit.
Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Certified Black Society in the House Foundational Black American Freeman. Once again, this is Certified Live. I am Black Alpha 6. I have a new black media mashup I call the Bosses Table, and I've got me a bunch of bosses. These are my brothers. These are my partners. These are the guys I always work with in this black activist world that we are all in, that we're all trying to, make our way in this journey. These are the guys I deal with the most. These are the people who are the most thorough to me, and I appreciate every last one of them. The same way I appreciate all of you. We're going to bring them in one by one and let them introduce themselves, and we are going to go to work. We started off making these mashups early in the summer, and everything that we said was going to happen has happened. And I want to kind of recap it, even though it's, late in the summer and it's pretty much autumn, but I still want to go through and recap it so we can end this year with a bang, because we all know it has been a hell of a year, but it always is, and we always ready for it, no matter what, 24/7, 365. When you certified, you ride, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So the first person in order that I have lined up is my brother right here, Torian Reigns. I want to have him introduce himself, family. Peace and love to you, my brother.
Peace and love to you, and B1 to everyone who's in the chat right now. B1 to you, Black Alpha. I definitely appreciate you for wanting me to come up here and speak with you and speak with everyone tonight. This is definitely going to be an awesome stream. But first, before I really say any more, that intro was fire. That intro was fire. Like, I found myself over here, like, just kind of bobbing my head a little bit and like really get into the vibe. And I like how the introduction pretty much kicks everything off. I always feel like something that starts off on a really good foot lets you know that the rest of the show is going to pretty much flow the exact same way. I can't wait to get into it and see what we have to contribute to this evening's discussion and what else we can learn from this and going forward.
Appreciate you, brother. And you guys make sure you salute my brother. He just crossed over 50,000 subscribers. I have been following Torian before. Always, brother. I was following you before I even had like all this going, man. So I was kind of like a silent follower, man. And then when I got the chance to meet you and work with you, it was an honor, man. So much, respect to you, brother, as always.
I appreciate
Now, I want to bring in all the time, family. I want to bring in my other brother. Y'all know I work with this gentleman all the time. This is my brother, Afro Elite. Y'all know him. Brother, how you doing?
I'm great, brother. Thanks for having me. And B1 to you and everybody in the chat room.
Much respect. You guys make sure you salute my brother, man. Please follow everybody. My brother's always been putting in work. I always say we are the new black media, but we're also activists, and we do things really out here in the streets for real. And you actually will see us doing things, not just holding, 15-hour Twitter spaces all day. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We out here really putting in that work. And this next gentleman that I'm going to bring in, this is my certified true partner, man, right here. This is my brother, Beat Zilla, the AKA the motherfucking truth.
Yes, indeed, family. Black first. Everybody, peace, everybody in the chat. Of course, my brothers up here on stage. You already know how we do when we get together. So just like the brother Torian said, that intro, man, hearing it from like this, watching it on TV is one thing, but actually hearing it in my headphones, man, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is the energy we need. Yes, sir. So yeah, man, I'm ready for it tonight, brothers. Yes,
I appreciate that, man. We always, all of us, all 4 of us, we always come with energy, and that's the thing I feel that separates this era of black activists is that on the church. It was like Sunday service all the time. Everybody was kind of vague and slow and moving. We bring that heat, man.
Mm-hmm.
All of us and young, they all rock with our movement right here, because we really truly do bring the truth. So I appreciate that and dealing with you guys. What I want to do though, the first question, I'm gonna hit the ground running like we always do. And first off, shout out to the chat, all of my brothers, sisters, kings, queens, goddess and gods, foundational Black American freemen, B1s, all the way live. I want to ask you, brothers, man, and I'll just keep cycling the questions how I got it from Torian to Afro to Zilla and then back around. I want to know what motivates you guys, because this is a real serious struggle. You got your up days, your days where you're down. I tell people, if you don't go through the range of emotion, then you're not really invested in it. I know I do. I know there's days where I'm ready to tear things up. I'm ready to turn up. There's days where I get tired. There's days where I want to go to work. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of different emotions. So throughout all the strife and all the things that we deal with, what is the things that really motivate you guys to keep coming, to keep pushing that energy, and to keep, uplifting our people? And I'll start with you, Brother Torian.
I think it's because I get the energy from the people. I always tell my subscribers that y'all are pretty much the life force behind my channel. There's no way that I could actually be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for them. Otherwise, I would just be talking into a microphone every day to myself, basically. And it's not the easiest thing, to pump out this information on a consistent basis. Because like you said, there are days when you have your lazy days when you just don't feel like doing nothing. Or, it's crazy because it's like how my setup is, it's like right there. And it's like it'd be days when I can want to talk about something and I could, or I can put it off. But then it's like if I put it off, then something else come up and now I have to add on to what it is that I want to talk about. So it's like, why put on later what I can do right now? But my people, my supporters are definitely the life force, like the heartbeat and the engine behind what it is that I'm doing, definitely for sure. And when it comes to us doing this, it's not the easiest thing to get on here and talk about what we talk about, especially when sometimes you feel like you're censoring yourself, or you really want to say what you really want to say, and sometimes you just let loose. It might be risky. It's crazy because a lot of the stuff that we say will be deemed controversial, even though it shouldn't be. But we talk about it anyway because we don't want to cut corners. We want to be as authentic as we possibly can be, and as thorough and transparent with our audience, because after all, that's why they came to see us. That's why they're still here. It's why they have departed, leaving the old Black media, because they wanted to find something else or someone else to lend their ear to. And that's where we step in. I mean, after all, you had Big Sister Loudmouth, Tiffany Cross Eyes, call out Tariq and a deceased Kevin Samuels by name. And as tacky as that was, that shows you that people like her are watching us. We are definitely being watched, not just by the people who support us, but even by those who don't. They would prefer that we don't talk about the things that we talk about. They feel we're stepping on their toes. And in a way, we kind of are, but we're more than just stepping on your toes. We're stepping on your carcass at this point. There's nothing live over there. It's basically like the elephant graveyard in The Lion King. It's dead. And we're just bringing new life. And they can't handle it. They can't stand it. But as I always say, I feel nothing. Nothing I feel. And that's all I got right now.
Much respect, family. Hey, Torian said we stepping on that carcass, man. It's too much all the way. What about you, Brother Afro? What keeps you motivated in this, Black activist game, i.e. new Black media, family?
Well, I'm gonna say it's definitely the people. It's definitely the people, because I honestly feel as if what I'm doing now, the new Black media, what all of you all are doing, I feel like that actually does make a difference. That does actually help. We are actually informing people, motivating people, and teaching people. So I feel like we are really helping, and a lot of people need the help. And this is my way, the way I see it. This is my way to kind of contribute to the movement, contribute to Black society. So I feel as if I was to stop, that would be kind of me abandoning my duty, almost to a degree. That's how I would feel. It does get hard. it gets very hard, especially like how our brother Torian just explained, especially when you have to censor yourself and then YouTube still gives you problems. There's times that you have to be consistent every day, and sometimes you just don't want to do it. You don't want to go live, or you don't want to do a space, or whatever the case is. um there's times that you don't. There's times that you do a good job and you think that your video is going to blow up, and it doesn't do the numbers that you think it was going to do. And you just got to keep being consistent. I would say my accomplishments also too, like the fact that, well, when I reached my first 100 subscribers, I was like, oh my god, I have 100 subscribers. Then it's 200, 400, 500. So each, like, the more accomplishments you get, the more motivation that you can actually keep going. So all of these things together are my motivation as to what keeps me going forward.
Much respect. What about you, Brother Zilla? What motivates you in this game, and what motivates you, to go through the day-to-day things that we got to deal with?
Well, I guess the first thing would be purpose. So, I'm as passionate as a person for my people that I know. That's, again, kind of the energy that even gravitates, like that brings us together. So for me, it's the purpose and then the people. Because just building with our own, getting back to ourselves, getting back to our own greatness, the things that we like, there's something inside of all of us. You know what I'm saying? That there's a like untapped something there. But once we get together, all of a sudden it just comes boiling out. So for me, it's the purpose and the people. So yeah, hell yeah, you would absolutely have issues to where you would feel drained, or you could find burnout. Those things, man, I'm gonna tell you like this: consistency is really key. But you could find yourself like, I'll wait till later. And just like Brother Torian said, you'll have to make the pivot to say, no, I just got to go ahead and do it, because something else will come on. Then you'll have to tack something else on your video. Like I've had to do that before, to where, hey, I got to make this disclaimer because this changed since since when I taped this video from when you've seen it. But even still, man, the response from the people, I think that is one of the telling things, that's saying, hey, man, we're actually touching somebody. We're reaching the people. And what we, just like my brother Afro said, we're absolutely having an effect. So just seeing more and more of us doing this, having these positive conversations, man, that's what motivates me at this moment, is seeing all of this work that is now in the forefront, man. We got all of y'all on here, and everybody else out there. So the big three, we smashing. That's what motivates me.
When you put us all together, I tell people, when you put a bunch of foundational Black American freemen, certified Black society in the same place at the same time, we're unmatched and we're unbreakable. And that includes everybody in the chat as well. Like, that's all of us together. Like, you can't separate one from the other. To answer that question myself, there's a lot of things that motivate me. I'm actually going to say everything you guys said. And then you guys motivate me. Like, I watched all of your videos. I sit back and I observe. Y'all know I'm just gonna tell y'all straight up, I steal from y'all. If y'all say some shit that's tight, some real shit, some words, I take it and I'm putting it in my thing, and I'm gonna say it, because I always feel you can take from your brother. Nobody is above that. You got to be humble. I'm humble enough to understand that I will take things from my brother and add it to mine, and vice versa, because that's how we all get better. Each one teach one. We all do a little, we all do a lot. So I watched all your videos. There's not been one moment where I haven't been watching your videos. Torian, I used to watch your video when I would be out working out. I'd be running and I would have it on and I'd be watching your videos. Zilla, I told you I'll sit down on a Friday night and I have my pit bull Swagger. I have him sitting right next to me, on my lap, and I'll sit back and watch it. Afro, I will sit back and watch your videos. When I'm cooling in the crib, I'll be driving, I'll be rolling. I watch all of you guys' videos as well as the big three. And it's all one big, FBA family and one big FBA family tree. And that goes to the people in the chat as well. So it's all about that, man. If you're going to be brothers, man, ride like brothers. And that's one thing I definitely love about what we're doing. All that feuding and fighting that other people do, we don't really get into that. We might G-check a couple people here or there. We might snatch some paperwork here or there. But, at the end of the day, we get back to the unity. But I want to get to the real questions, man, and break it down to the brass tacks and the cachet. I always talk about this era that we're living in right now. And I like to look at things historically and categorically. Like I always say, you got, 4 or 5 different eras of foundational Black Americans. You have the indigenous era that's not really as well documented, but it takes people to really understand it. Matter of fact, Afro, when we were both young in this game, man, you made a video talking about the indigenous era and how, started off with, basically underdeveloped people here. And then it came to the travelers and then the kingdoms and it went on and on. You did a great video about that. That era was the original era. Then we went from that era and then we moved into, like the slavery era came and then Reconstruction came and the civil rights era. Now we're living in the era right now where I don't know if we have a term, because sometimes I say it's the B.A.N era. Sometimes I say it's the Freeman era. It's the foundational Black American era. It's the reparations era. It's the tangible era. It's all about us and we'll bust your motherfucking head era if you get out of line. Like whatever you want to call it, this is a new era and it will go down in history and we will look back on it the same way everyone looks back on the past. Another thing that does motivate me is when I watch old videos and documentaries about Reconstruction and see, everybody playing a role. And then I look and I'm like, yo, we playing our role right now. And I don't have to watch it on television. I can get up, go outside my house, and they'll be talking about us 50 years from now, whether it's the mistakes that we made, whether it's the progress that we made or whatever. So I want to make sure that we leave a legacy that is very solid and very certified. So with saying that, I wanted to ask you guys, and I'll start with you, Zilla, then I'll go to Afro and Torin. I want to ask you guys, what are you most proud of this era that we're living in right now? And if you got a name that you may call this era, say whatever you please, but what do you feel this era has accomplished the most? And how do you feel that people will look back on this era? Because there's going to be unborn kids who aren't even born yet. Same way a lot of us weren't born, back in the civil rights era or, back in Reconstruction. People are going to look back on this era and say, they were doing that right there. And the baton was passed to us. That's what I want to know. How do you feel this era will go down in history as it is still moving along? And what do you think we need to do to continue to make it strong? I'll take it to you, Brother Zilla, and then Afro and then Torian.
That's a great question. I say maybe the one thing that of pushing that I like about this era, I don't necessarily have a phrase for the era, but it's like what we're doing now. In all the other movements, you never had the tool of the media, so we didn't have the levels of communication and visibility as other movements have had in the past. The difference also, this movement has no outsider backing. There is no group over here that is secretly slipping folks money. There's no organization or fraternity over here slipping folks money. No, this is absolutely straight organic grassroots. So if anything, I would just say this is the real grassroots era, because from us to the people in the chat, all the people that be on the timelines and whatnot, our era is different. And truth be told, family, there is no better roasting than foundational Black Americans. These chats be off the chain. So yeah, that's my thing about this era, man, is the way we can communicate and touch the masses. We got to mash up. We're literally all over the country and able to sit up here and come together like this. We couldn't do that in the last era. That's what's so dope now. So accessibility, the era of accessibility. And that would be my answer for that.
That's a good point. What about you, Brother Afro Elite?
There's a whole lot I love about this era. I'm gonna say one of the best things that I feel about this era is definitely the vetting that we've been doing. That's definitely, if I could say, that's one thing that we've been doing, because back in the day, we would let anybody say a couple good words and then next thing you know, they're invited to the cookout. Now we're checking everybody's paperwork. Everybody's like, oh, but didn't you do this before? Everybody's getting their paperwork checked. We're so thorough with it now. we're even doing that to the African diaspora. We're doing that not just to the non-black people. We're doing that to other black people who are not foundational Black Americans. They're coming over here and like, but you had a tweet calling us cicadas, or you were saying this about FBA and everything. So we're checking everybody's paperwork. You know, I don't have like a term for that, but that is something that we've messed up with in the past, where we were so desperate and we let anybody and everybody come into the movement, and then they were able to sabotage. We're stopping everybody at the gate, and we're running their IDs, we're checking their backgrounds, and we're telling them, okay, you're either clear or you're not. And that's what we're doing, and I love that. And I feel like we're making a lot of progress with that.
Good points from both of you brothers. What about you, my brother Torian?
I would say the access to information. A lot of the stuff that we have access to now, especially because we are in what is called the information age, wasn't available to us at one point. A lot of stuff that we learned in school, a lot of stuff we probably shouldn't have learned about in school, or stuff that was half truths or whole lies, we are now able to learn more so right now. As a matter of fact, I've always said that even when I was in college, a lot of the stuff that I learned in college, I had to sometimes, I had to kind of unlearn it when I got out. And then over the years, I had to relearn or retrain my mind to understand what it is that's really going on in the world today as it stands right now. So for me, I would definitely say the information is definitely more accessible to us now, especially since we have, for the most part, we all have access to the internet. We all have a smartphone. So it's like right there in our hand. If there's something that we needed to better research, we could get it right there in that moment. I've even told people that a lot of the times, a lot of the stories that y'all hear about that come from me, I be finding out on these apps. I be finding out like a lot of stuff on Instagram and Twitter more faster than you can see it on your local news, if they even talk about it, or even on a bigger platform like a national news. And it's because I'm so connected in a lot of ways. We're all connected to the information that's right there almost in an instance. At one point you had to wait to your 12 o'clock or your 4 o'clock or your 7 p.m. or your late night news in order to receive information. So just imagine all of the stuff that you missed in that time period, and you had to wait for it to come on. And then once it was done, it was either done or you had to wait to the next segment for a few more hours for an update. Nowadays, you get a story out there, you can get an update probably, maybe if you're lucky, in the same day as when the story, went out. Like think about like all these like when they talk about like these mass shootings and stuff like that. The only time you will be able to catch it is if you was at home, depending on the day. Now imagine if this happened in the middle of the day and you was at work. You wasn't going to catch it unless you was at home. Now you could be at work and a breaking news story can come right to your phone, like right there, and boom, you have it right there in front of you. So for me, I would definitely say that living in the age of information and having it be really accessible to us and in a very fast fashion is definitely something that I love about this era.
You guys all make a lot of good points, and I agree with all of them. And I know exactly what you're saying, Torian, because I remember when news was so slow. It used to be so slow, especially anything that pertained to us, because we had to go through the slowness of technology, and then you had to deal with them watering down the stories. And by the time it even reached us, it had to be just basically word of mouth, hearsay. Like that's what happened. All of you brothers, I know for a fact, have broke stories that I did not know about. I swear to God, y'all would break stories. I'll be like, damn. Or you guys will make points that I may not have been aware of. And that's why I got you guys all on the top panel. Shout out to you, brother Kid Gravity. I know you're at the plantation family, but salute to you as well, brother, because I've seen you break stories as well, and just a whole new black media. So I think we're serving everybody, proudly, and we're doing a good job at that, because, I feel like we wear a lot of hats. I feel like just amongst us right here in this room, I feel that we have philosophers. I feel that we have, news anchors. We have Black political activists. I feel we have revolutionaries. I feel we're all a blend and a mix of all of those different things, and that kind of gives us, light. And that's the most beautiful thing about it, and that's why we're out here really regulating people and putting things in their proper order. Speaking about regulating and putting people in their order and putting them in check and handling things, that brings me to the tethers, and that brings me to the outsiders, because y'all know if we're going to start it off, we're going to start it off with a real bang. Everybody knows this year started off, with the whole diaspora situation. And this is a situation. It ain't a war. It's a war to them, but to us, it's just a regular Tuesday, okay? We too busy being great right now. And hate goes up. So, we don't look down. So I guess we don't ever really see them. But this year started off, very fluent. As a matter of fact, you can make the case that everybody has taken their turns at coming at foundational Black Americans, every single group. Remember it started off with, those videos where we were swinging at the air and they would have, I'm going to get you, sucker. And they was, using that to get other people some type of laws made. That had, that happened. Then you had the diaspora coming. They ain't been quiet since. Then you had these other groups that would all team up. It's to the point where they're teaming up at each other, to come at us now. So in terms of these tethers, immigration, everybody trying to eat off the plate of foundational Black Americans, because I do believe that's one of the, the bigger plights that we're dealing with right now. It started off regulating these folks in the year, 2022. And you still see that we're going at it right now towards the end, the tail end of the year, going into the next quarter. And I want to definitely end this year with a bang and go out with style the same way we came in with style. What do you brothers feel, in terms of these tethers and how to deal with them and how to regulate them? Because some people say don't on the show. Me personally, I be on that, like, don't let them waste your time. And I don't be wanting to. But man, they just set me off, and then I just got to go in. I think it's some mashup like running tethers, out of the space, because we definitely be doing that all the time. But what do you brothers feel like is a way that we should handle these people and deal with them in terms of how the government's trying to place them above us? I'm not just talking about politically, but socially in the whole spectrum. How do you guys feel that we should deal with the tethers, no matter where they're from, the tethers from South America, across the diaspora, over the ocean, both sides? What should we do when encountering these people? And what do you think we should do in terms of letting them know that foundational Black American lineage is ours and they can't steal what we have? I'll start with you, Brother Torian, then I'll bring it to Afro and then back to Zilla.
I would definitely say, first off, if you're going to check them, you need to know your history first. If you are going to come at anybody about your own history, you need to know your history first before they have an opportunity to fix their mouths to try to speak ill or speak against or speak negatively against it. Because if you start stumbling over your words and you don't even know your own history, then it's going to be very easy for them to try to do mind manipulation against you, to the point where you might end up agreeing with whatever it is that's coming out of their mouth. So I would definitely say know or be aware of your own history. And I mean, like, really take a nosedive and a deep dive into your own history so you can know how to better go against whatever narrative it is that they're trying to explain, such as, and I think one of the biggest ones, of course, is the hip hop discussion. How we know where hip hop started. We know who created it. We know where the foundation of it is. And then you have other people come in and try to take away and chip away at it. It's just that I wish that even back then, a lot of people were aware of it, aware of what we know now back then, that we could have had a better gatekeep on it. That way it wouldn't spiral out of control like it is now. I mean, look at what BET just did in having Fat Joe, of all people, host the Hip Hop Awards in the next couple of weeks. And honestly, even if he wasn't hosting it, I wasn't going to watch it. I can't even remember the last time I even watched that show. Probably not since the first one a few years ago. But I said then, I knew that was nothing more than a publicity stunt. I can only imagine what he's going to get up on that stage and say. I really don't care, because I'm not really going to feed into that, because I know it's going to be a bunch of nonsense and jabs and shots thrown or shots made anyway. But when it comes to dealing with the tethers, a lot of the time, sometimes I really don't even try to deal with them. I know that it's going to be kind of hard because it's like interwoven. It's like, like I said, it's in the diaspora. So it's like it's almost like you're in a position where you're not going to have a choice. but to deal with them. And let's just like put this out here right now. When we say, tethers, we're not talking about every person in the diaspora. We're talking about the ones that have this nonsense to spill about the people that built this establishment up and think they're going to come in and shoehorn their way in. And honestly, I think really the tether talk really ramped up when we started to really push reparations even harder, to the point where it got on in front of certain people who we probably didn't think it would ever reach. And then now that's when they're trying to get in. I said, if you really want to know what the tether is like, just look at the movie Us. Like really, really look and examine the movie Us. That's where the tether line came from. But really, really look and examine at that movie, and you can understand what a tether is and what a tether is not. And just understand that they are, in my opinion, operating as what I like to call the co-colonizing cohort. We know who the colonizer is, but they also have some little underlings. So that's where the tether comes into play at. And they have to find a way to squeeze their way in there somehow, some way. And that's why we have gotten into the position where we have differentiated between them and us, because when you are in America, the so-called dominant society sees us as nothing but one big nigga, and they will let you know what it is. That's why when a lot of them come over here and they get some kind of treatment of how black people like FBA gets treated over here, and they get the same treatment, we were like, well, we tried to warn you, we gave you a heads up, this is how it is. But a lot of them, they got to find out the hard way. They say a hard head makes a soft behind. So sometimes the best lesson is through experience. And that's pretty much what I got right there.
Hey, that's a damn good point. Damn good. What about you, Brother Afro? How do you feel we should deal with these tethers in any aspect, in any form, any shape or way? Because I know we do a lot of Twitter spaces and we get a lot of training on how to deal with these tethers, man. We get tether regulate training every time you do one, because there's always one calling up. And, we never know where they're calling from, man. They may call from a village on the, the west end of damn Asia or on the south end of Africa, but they come and call, and then we basically handle them. But what advice would you give to people who have to encounter these tethers as we further break them down?
Well, like our brother Torian said, you have to know your history. That is going to be your ammunition to go forward. If you don't know your history, they can just lie to you. They can say whatever, and you're going to take it because you don't have any other information to counter their lies and propaganda. So you have to know your history, where your people are from, what you're owed in this country, and everything. And when you do that, you're going to feel more empowered just automatically by yourself. You're going to feel like this country belongs to you. You're going to feel like royalty to a degree, And if you feel like you got like royal blood in your veins, you don't just let anybody talk to you any type of way. Like you feel like, hey, I'm the heir to the throne here. Like, okay, I can be cool with you, but you need to tread lightly. And that's kind of the energy that you need to have with them, because that's the energy that they have when we go over there. So right now, we just really need to understand. I just want to put this disclaimer out there. Everybody from the diaspora isn't a tether, like how Torian said. We do have some riders, so you do got to take it by a by case basis sometimes. But we have to understand patterns. So when we go over there, we don't get treated like we're royalty. So when they come over here, we're going to treat them with the same energy. And that's what we need to start doing. We need to start returning the same energy. They call us Akaudas. Okay, well, so now we're not going to apologize for the African booty scratcher that they claim that we called them when we were in middle school or whatnot. That's the keeping the same energy is what we need to do when it comes to them. Also, too, getting rid of the concept, and I'm glad we're doing this, of Pan-Africanism. I'm glad that we've collectively moved beyond Pan-Africanism into a be black first mentality, which is the like superior ideology, because that includes a vetting process. Everybody just doesn't get to come in because they're black. Before years ago, when pro-black nobody really knew what that meant. Everybody claimed that they were pro-black. They didn't have a standard to it. Being black first has a standard to it. Now there's paperwork involved to it. Some things you can agree to disagree on, and then some things, if you disagree, it's an automatic X. Your paperwork getting ripped up. For instance, reparations. There is no, I just disagree with reparations, but I'm still pro-black. No, you don't. You just disqualified yourself. There's certain things that need to be checked off, and if they're not checked off, you're not getting in. So that's the vetting process I was talking about earlier. So we got to do that with the tethers. We got to treat them automatically. You coming in, we already double checking your paperwork. It's not like an FBA. We check it once and you cool. We got to double and triple check just because, and hate to say it, just because you from Africa, we got to double check it. The second we see anything funny, that's it. That's it. And that's how we got to keep, we got to handle them. We got to check their paperwork, and then we got to charge them to the game.
Big facts. So wait a minute. So, brother, you tell me that black first means you got to be Black American first and other people can't be black? No, I'm just playing, y'all. Just playing. Hey, we put that one to rest a long time ago, y'all. Y'all know the truth. I had to, man. I'm crazy. I'm sorry, y'all. Yes, everybody. B1 means black all across the whole world. We have riders in the diaspora. Despite what other groups may tell you, there are black folks all around this world that are certified B1, and you don't just have to be Black American. We put that one to rest this summer, though. We put that one to rest. Now, to you, B-Zilla, how do you feel we should handle the tellers? Because we done handle some tellers together, man. We be in there like tags to handle these tellers when we deal with them.
I guess I have to kind of piggyback on what Brother Afro just said about, I would say like this: remain firm in your position. And just like the brother said, for those of you who feel different, when you feeling like, I was raised a certain way to understand certain things. So like that brother said, man, if you feel like you got royal blood running through your veins, you don't let the peasants talk crazy to you. That is a no-no. And honor your family's blood, honor your ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears, and bodies that are buried into this land. These are people who made this country great while they're always trying to sit up here and deny what we have done. So for me, remain firm in your position, remain firm in your greatness. And here's the one thing that I think they have always oversaturated our ears with in our lives. Everybody is made equal. Nah, we not. If everyone else needs a leg or a head start to get in front of us, that means we're the top of the mountain, not the bottom. So for me, owning that position, I need for our folks to own that position. Every response that comes based off of that will prepare you to deal with any tether. And I'm talking about all races of tethers. Because at the end of the day, you know where you stand. You stand in your own greatness and stand firm on it. And that's how we tether check. That's what we're going to do. Call it tether checking. You feel what I'm saying? As soon as you said that, I wrote that down, brother. Tether checking. That's what we doing. So that's my answer, brother.
Doing that tether check. What I say, y'all, they be hitting that tether two-step. They be in that tether two-step, and they be doing the coon walk, and they be walking their ass right out of our space, man. Right out of our space. Salute to y'all, brothers. Please, everybody in the chat, salute to everybody. Please follow each other. I'm talking about people in the chat. Follow each other and follow my brothers right here. These are my foundational Black American brothers. I actually talk to these people more than I talk to my own family. You know what I'm saying? So these are my people right here, man, entrenched. You know what I'm saying? I'm wherever my brothers need me, man. And I love working with these gentlemen. And same way I love dealing with everyone, in all of our spaces and just any type of interaction that we have. If foundational Black Americans are there, Black Alpha is there. And I'm not just there, enjoying the moment. I'm there enjoying the vibe. I'm there enjoying the frequency, the energy, because we do have an energy and a frequency about us that other people do not have. That's why these other people try to culture appropriate us. And then they try to make these movies talking about woman king, I want to dance. They want to fly in everybody from all over the world to come play foundational Black Americans, because we're unmatched, and they only fall flat on their face trying to do that. So I want to segue and I want to pivot to something that's in the headlines right now, and we've all seen it, and all of my brothers right here have seen Break It Down, and we want to break it down all the way to the morsel, because that's how we do things. We don't leave no stones unturned. We're gonna flip that motherfucker over sideways. So this Woman King movie that everybody's seeing right now, there's like 30 agendas in this one movie, and we've all been seeing it play. The I Want to Dance movie, we're seeing that play. I seen that Demetrius Elba or Demetrius Tether. I seen him talking about Whitney Houston's just a character. That's what they said. They said she's a character. First off, Whitney Houston's my favorite singer. Everybody knows that. Do not talk about Whitney. We're going to go there. If you talk about Whitney, then we're going to be moving some furniture, okay? She's not just a character. She's a foundational Black American legend, and she will be respected. And as we all know, the onus is on us to represent the legacy of our ancestors, whether that is our ancestors who just transitioned recently or even our ancestors who transitioned way back in slavery. It doesn't matter, because people are still to this day trying to milk the slaves. People still to this day are not giving justice to the Emmett Tills of the world or the Bobby Huttons of the world. And Whitney Houston now is being, utilized for means to serve Tether's agendas. So I want to talk about this Woman King movie. I want to talk about this Whitney Houston movie. And I want to talk about this Little Mermaid movie. Because within those three films, you see something that we've all been diagnosing and breaking down since day one, and it's all playing. So let's give them that foundational Black American breakdown that only we can, and let's give them that real smoke that only we do, brothers. I'll start with my brother Afro, and then I'll go to my brother Torian and my brother Beatzilla, and I want to see how you brothers feel about all of this nonsense so we can clear the air and get some FBA energy into place. Brother Afro, it's on you, family.
Okay, thank you. Great question. And like I said, this emphasizes the importance of knowing your history. I literally said this in a broadcast the other day. This emphasizes the importance of knowing your history, because when you know the history of films, when you know the history of what they do with propaganda, if we go back to Birth of a Nation with the KKK being the heroes and saving, you know, the day against the crazy black man, you know that a lot of propaganda and a lot of subliminal messages are put out through films and through artwork and stuff like that, and that leads down a very dangerous road that winds up harming foundational Black Americans. So it's a good thing that we're recognizing this. What they're trying to do now is they're realizing that Black people, specifically foundational Black Americans, we're not really listening to the politicians or to their fake activists or anything else. So their last attempt really is to corrupt us through entertainment. So they push a lot of propaganda through entertainment. That's because they know that foundational Black Americans consume a lot of entertainment. So they all like, okay, well, we're gonna do this in every single movie now. It's every single movie, it's every single TV show. It's a bunch of propaganda, because they feel as if, okay, they're not listening to the news, they're not listening to CNN and Joe Biden, they're not listening to anybody else. This is the only way for us to get this propaganda out here. So they push the Woman King, this big, strong, broad-shouldered woman, and she's a king for some weird reason, and they pushing that, and they're pushing the interracial agenda. Every time you see a movie now, it's a Black girl and it's a non-Black man, or even in TV shows and commercials and everything, they're pushing that propaganda because they're seeing the table is starting to turn in the opposite direction. They're seeing that with media like this. They're seeing with messages that we put out that their propaganda and their agenda is getting more pushback than they can handle. So they need to double team it with the media. They're all like, okay, well, this generation, there's almost nothing we can do. Let's try to get the kids. Let's try to go for the Disney movies, the little cartoon movies. Let's try to push that out. Let's get any bit of propaganda that we can. And we debunked that entirely. Like the Woman King, for instance. They're acting as if the Woman King is just this phenomenal success. It's not. It's not gonna get a sequel. The Woman King, they're going to try to do the fake Oscar thing, probably, where they try to give it an Oscar. Nobody's going to care about it. Nobody's going to dress as the Woman King for Halloween. The Woman King is not going to be an influential movie like that. Not the way they need it to be. I want you guys to think they're not putting this movie out because they feel like it's entertainment. They need people to absorb these movies. They need people to look at it and view it with a blind eye. And unfortunately for them, we've taken the veils off of everybody's eyes. So anytime they see an interracial couple, they automatically know that's propaganda. It doesn't get by anybody anymore. So all of their work, all of their efforts, the millions of dollars that they spend is ineffective, really, because of us. So I land there. I'll pass the mic. I don't want to go on too long.
Go ahead, brother Tony Reigns. It's on you, family.
Okay, I wasn't sure what happened here. It just got really, really quiet. Okay, yeah, first I was like, who's next? Because I was ready to just jump right in there, but I was just waiting for the signal. But I had asked the question when it came to the Woman King. Well, for people or those who actually saw it, I asked them, what demographics did you see when you saw the movie? I would say race wise. I guess you could probably also throw there in gender wise as well, because it is a very heavily populated female movie. And of course, a lot of women, went to go see it, but there was also a huge PC audience as well. And I had even heard that a lot of them were in there clapping and applauding what they saw. I said, oh, that pretty much told me what I needed to know right there. And then when you factor in who wrote it, the two producers, as well as the director, even though the direction would be categorized as biracial, that told me even more what I needed to know when it came to this movie. And then I saw a lot of people do a lot of breakdowns. Well, not so much breakdown, but historical like backgrounds on the particular tribe in which was being referenced in this movie. And like Afro was saying, it was propaganda pretty much all the way around of how they were portraying these women versus how they were in real life. And one thing that I've had an issue with, and I actually posted this up as a tweet on my Twitter account today, is that I do not like when you have these Hollywood actresses get out there and say that, oh, people aren't supporting this movie because it's like female empowerment, or it's female led, and how they like to come out and say men aren't going out there to support it. And I'm like, no, that's not what it is. If you can tell an accurate story, especially if it's a story depicting history, or just telling a good story without pushing some type of an agenda, or making men to be out this making men out to be this monster or some kind of a deviant, then sure, we will go out and support it. I have supported films that had female leads before. To sit here and say that I've never done that, that would be egregious. But they weren't pushing a particular agenda at the end of the day. And that's where the difference comes in. And it's like, you can continue to do movies like this, but then it's going to continuously be hashtag boycott, insert name a movie behind the boycott. And it's just really sad, because Viola Davis is a very talented actress. She's definitely one of the best actresses of our time right now. And I thought it said a lot that she took this role, and that actresses like Lupita Nyong'o turned it down. Especially since Lupita is more closer to the continent than Viola is, if you talk about lineage, because she's of Kenyan descent. And when I saw that video of her, going there and actually doing the research, I believe, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, that she ended up turning it down because she learned the real history of them, and whatever she saw in a script was not what she learned when she went there. Like, she actually went and did the actual concrete research. Like, she broke down in tears, and like she couldn't believe that that's what actually happened. And then for her to be force fed something completely different, she probably felt deceived. She probably felt like they were deceiving her to take on a role to help sell a movie because she's a big name. And I think that was very, that was very disheartening, because like that can ruin relationships. Like, you want me to take on a role that has no historical accuracies there just because you're trying to sell a movie or put butts in the seats. And like, I don't want that to be a part of my resume. Like, you want your resume to improve. You don't want it to devolve and fall into whatever. And I thought it was also interesting, and I heard this, I'm not entirely sure, that some people were buying out theaters in order to, like, or they were buying tickets for people to go see this movie. If you got to do stuff like that, then that means your movie's not strong enough. That means it's just not selling. It's not hitting the way that it is. So when you have to do all of that, or get online and say, oh, men aren't supporting it because women empowerment, or they don't want to see women empowered. No, that's not it. That just means you're selling us a bag of garbage. You just put a bow on it, but it's still garbage in the bag, and that's what it is. And of course, they're going to hype up the first weekend's numbers, because it's the first weekend. Let's see what this weekend is saying, because word on the street is them numbers ain't going to do nothing compared to that first weekend. And you heard what Professor Blackshoe said in his video. He said, in order for a movie to really be a success, it has to make 3 times its budget. I don't know how much money they spent on this movie, but I don't think they're going to reach that. So I think that this movie is most likely going to get the Harriet treatment. And even with that, someone has said that they're probably going to try to, I'm gonna put it out there right now. I would not be surprised if this movie gets nominated for some awards, because it just lines right up with the narrative. I have a feeling they're going to nominate it for, some awards. And then I think about when Nate Parker did Birth of a Nation a few years ago, and what happened with that. And now here you have a movie that's made by an FBA actor about one of our icons, one of our heroes, and money that he spent along with some other crowdfunding to get this movie made, because he knew these big studios was not going to give him this budget to make this movie. About Nat Turner, are you kidding me? No. And then they had to destroy it in the process. I said, imagine what would have happened with him. Where was his support? How they're coming out and trying to praise, the Woman King. Where was Nate Parker's support behind Birth of a Nation? I remember going seeing that movie on the first day it came out, and I think like only half of the theater, was full. That went and seen it. I mean, they did everything in their power. They sabotaged the hell out of that man's movie, and it practically almost ruined him. More so because of the outside scandal that they brought up to make it what it was. And I just think about that all the time. And I'm like, he didn't get the support that he should have received. And he should have received a whole lot of support. Like, they said that this was going to be like the movie that was really going to change the trajectory of his entire career. And then that happened. Y'all can't tell me that wasn't by design. But that's all I have right now.
Brother, Birth of a Nation was such a phenomenal movie. That movie, everybody I know who's seen that movie, they wanted to talk about it for weeks to come afterwards and months. Like, it stayed on your mind. I know when I seen it, I wanted to continue talking about it. And like, none of my friends had seen it yet. So I had to kind of just sit there and, think about it on my own. I was like, man, y'all need to watch this goddamn movie. So I got somebody to talk to. You know what I'm saying? That movie was phenomenal. And exactly, brother, they sabotaged that movie. They was bringing out everything. If, what's his name? Nate Parker. If he skip school in the 3rd grade, they was bringing that stuff up. They was running the whole slander campaign so they could try to, discredit that brother, for, putting out the real truth. But if it's a trashy film, they put that on the biggest silver screen that they could find. And then, like you guys said, they want to go give them awards, nominate them for this, nominate them for that. But the people in the general public ain't really messing with it. And if anybody can hear that sound, that is the King, Woman, Queen, King, whatever movie, that's it falling off a cliff, because that shit is flopping left and right. Despite what they say, they can try to tell you that movie's doing good, but the true numbers show you that it ain't. Brother Zilla, it's on you. Hey, with Brother Zilla, please tell me what's that guy's name, man, that we G-checked and we ran out of our space? Mr. What Tangle?
Oh, Rectum Tangle. Yeah, Mr. Rectum Tangle. That brother, he was see, some of these people are, I believe, industry plants to because the industry does that. So they would do that if they would want to push something. I mean, record labels supposedly have done this before in the past. So that's happened. Payola, and you send people out, you send teams out to promote something, or like back in the days of the box, you have one group just blow up the box. So all this video, the same video, just running. Well, labels were actually paying a team of people to do that. So seeing this Tether, who tried to come in with the African American line, seeing how he is caping so hard for this, he even had a space today. Of course, he was still butthurt over our space yesterday. So he had his space this morning, and everybody could only say that they just seen heavy loads of egregious tap dancing. You know what I'm saying? Singing Mammy. So looking at how these people are coming out for this Woman King, I look at it from the Tether aspect. They are benefiting by smoke screening their own history. Now, people over here, man, you got to know the history of the Dogon or the homie. Look, no, we don't. We know the history of them. They're basically Southern Nigerians. So what do we know about them? Oh, well, they were always heavy in the slave trade. So that's not news. Understanding this country was built or established in 1776. This movie is based out of 1823. This dude came in here talking to us like we would celebrate. And this is the saddest thing that I'm seeing out here. People celebrating the Woman King, which is actually taking place while your ancestors were on a plantation working for these devils. But you're celebrating the Woman King. Yikes. So going back to what our brother Afro said, it's very important to know your own history. But just simply put, y'all was here in 1776. This movie, 1823. I don't understand why this would be a celebratory situation at all. Because I guess a lot of people never wanted to look at black folks as putting people in slavery. But yeah, that happened over there. The other part, Whitney Houston. Again, here we go with the whole Tether situation. Instead of going from, you don't have to go find somebody from East Orange, New Jersey, but nonetheless, can we get an American? Can we at least get a talented singer? Because this is Whitney Houston. Now, not to say that many singers today would be able to vocally fill those shoes, but at least they would. We have singers here. Some of y'all know, like Ashley. Now, maybe you could use vocal people, but they went for the look. Now, with The Little Mermaid, they are hating on Hailey Bailey. Now, this is kind of a double-edged sword. So you have a triple threat like Hailey. She's a producer, writer, singer, and actress. So actually, she's a quadruple threat. So she could come give all of that in one performance, bringing all of that to the table, and guess who's mad? But at the same time, they're saying Hailey Bailey is woke. Viola Davis, champion. And look at all the people who are coming out for that movie. I have a prediction. of next year's Oscars. Woman King for Best Writer. Woman King, Best Director. So this is going to be, mark my words, family, it is going to be a white woman love fest over this movie. They're going to have Viola Davis up there crying. Oh, thank you. I just didn't think this was possible. This is a propaganda piece, 1,000%. So for me, that's kind of my take on all three of these different situations. Because truth be told, Woman King should be called the wokest movie ever. Instead, it ain't. They're actually shaming us for not supporting it. Somebody done shot Babyface some chips. Hey, go ahead and open out this theater. You're paying for people to watch it. That is insane. That means your movie sucks. So, and obviously, we are not in Wakanda in 2022. Joke's on y'all. Y'all better figure out something about this new Black Panther. Because unless Shuri fights Y'Baka, your movie's trash. She's got the mantle, then she needs to fight that man without the little special potion. Let's see if that takes place. So yeah, brother, that's kind of my take on these three shams of entertainment. Whitney, Little Mermaid, which Little Mermaid is cool. It'll be good to hear her sing. Here's the problem. She's going to get out that water to go get her a zaddy. So again, we're losing. So yeah, man, it's a hard pass on all for me.
You telling me, family, it's going to be a Little Swirler or the Swirler Mermaid?
Bro, trust me. It's a whole new world. It's going to be zaddy right there.
It's a whole new zaddy?
It's a whole new zaddy.
Hey, I wouldn't be shocked. Hey, can somebody elaborate on this? Because I'm not sure, because I heard it through the grapevine word on the street. Was there really somebody out there like digitizing her face or messing with the graphics, trying to make her look more like a W?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was a person over in China who used some AI to remodel her face to look like that of a PC woman.
I heard that after the movie was going to come out, that person was going to digitize her face the whole movie. I'm literally seeing on Twitter people saying, I can't wait to buy the bootleg movie of Halle Bailey's face being digitized to be a PC woman. So that is how much they're hating on it.
Man, that's cold. That's cold. They done took the anti-black racism to a whole nother level. God damn. All right, speaking of this movie, y'all, and by the way, I be feeling like I'm on Twitter space. I guess I'll be on Twitter space a lot because when y'all be talking, I be looking for the fire emojis and the hand clap. And I'm like, hold on, man, I'm on YouTube. The hell am I doing? Shit, I keep looking for it, but it ain't there. Either way, y'all boys is cooking. Please, everybody, make sure you leave a like on this video. Please share it and follow my brothers as well on all platforms. Just look up their names. It's right there in the link. Make sure you follow them. Leave a like on this video, and we're going to keep on bringing that new black media content, and we're going to keep on saying the things that other people are afraid to say, they don't want to say, or they don't know about, but we're going to do it in our way. Speaking of this movie, we were having a conversation the other day, me, Zillatorian, and Afro on one of the spaces, I can't remember, about how all these things are kind of happening at the same exact time. You have this movie coming out with the Whitney Houston situation. Then you have the Woman King movie. Then you have the mermaid situation. Then you had Tiffany, what y'all call her, Tiffany Cross-Eyed? I think you said that, Torian. I think that was you, brother.
I got that from Professor Black Truth. I can't take credit to that one. The Tiffany Cross-Eyed. The Tiffany Cross-Eyed, that's definitely Professor Black Truth's terminology. I'll never forget, there was a thumbnail he had up of her, and he actually digitized one of her eyes to literally cross. I had to actually go and like look up a picture of her to make sure that her eyes really weren't crossed, but he photoshopped her eye to do that. But it was so smooth, because if you didn't catch it, then you would have thought that that's really how her eye went.
New black media in the building, y'all. I'm telling y'all, we spare nobody. If you off code, you out of pocket, you gonna catch that work. Yes, indeed. I seen her come out. She was running her mouth. Everybody knows that Stacey Abrams, Mammy Luther King, Kong, She came out and she was talking. Our brother Autodidactic, salute to him if you're listening, brother. You ran up on her and you had the little camera on her and stuff like that. All of these people are coming out at the same time with this election season con game, the election season trick bag. We all know what it is. We predict it before it happens, and you're seeing it play out all in real time. Difference is that we are regulating it in real time, because back in the old days, black folks was always like 50 years behind. They would always miss something, then have to go back to fix it. And then sometimes when it would come, they'd still miss it again. They'd miss it 4 or 5 times in one segment. We don't do that. We regulating them right now. But it all, to me, boils back down to the liberal agenda to get black folks to stay on the Democratic plantation. And that's where I want to pivot. And I want to talk to you brothers about that situation, because I've been following you brothers during the last election, and everything that we said has came to fruition. Everything we had said has come true. What exactly they were going to do, all the vote blue, no matter who folks, they ran, skipped, hid, they're hiding, you know what I'm saying? They're in the coon protection program, and, nowhere to be found right now. But they come out around these times, and then, we send them back after everything they said, was pretty much known to be BS. Right now, in terms of foundational Black Americans and gaining political power, I feel that we started thinking on a different level, and we started to undo a lot of the nonsense that we were told. Because remember, it was just until 3 years ago that black folks started kind of admitting that, politicians can do something for you specifically. Because remember, during Obama's, whole, tenure, 2 terms, black folks were saying, well, the president can't do anything for you specifically. And then we'd sit back and watch them do everything for you specifically. We'd sit there and see, Joe Biden, he can't do nothing for blacks. And then we sit there and see him whip out his pen and do laws for everybody specifically. And it took us on the black grassroots to really highlight that. Because remember, family, if we aren't here, the lights are off. We're the ones keeping the lights on. So it is very important for us to always do what we do. And I'm not just talking about us right here. I'm talking about everybody in the chat. I'm talking about everybody who's on code. We are the ones keeping this shit real and keeping it live, because if we weren't in the building, the cooning would be on a maximum. So I appreciate all the energy that we're doing. So we need to pop our collar and salute our goddamn self from time to time. We're going to put in some work, but we're going to have some fun too. And I feel roasting is fun. So I want to talk about the Democratic Party in terms of how we can, continue the momentum in which we've already created the last election, because those numbers did go down the last election. And be honest with you, I still think there was a finesse in that last election. I'm just saying, when you go to sleep and one guy's winning and you wake up and the other guy's, in full control, and it takes you to win Ohio and Florida and all these places. And one guy's a dude who never won those, but somehow won the election, out of, 60 years. That's never happened. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time and a whole nother day. It's well documented. Right now, moving forward, what do we do in terms of getting off the Democratic plantation, exposing everything that they're doing? Because the midterms are coming. We already see the blitz coming. We already see the games. They're sending out these movies for a reason. They're sending out operatives into our Twitter spaces. Luke, Luke came in and you saw we sent his ass back, to wherever he came from. You know what I'm saying? 2 Live Coon. We sent his ass back there. Roland Martin, we rolled his ass back out of here. What do we do in terms of getting off this Democratic plantation, continuing to gain black political power for ourselves, getting on-code candidates? Because it got to the point where these politicians was bold. They was just running around here saying, we ain't going to do nothing for y'all. Joe Biden said it. Kamala Harris, we all know the infamous, no, we all remember that shit. They got to the point where they weren't even hiding their discontent for us. So we started regulating, we started G-checking. Right now, right here, moving forward for this election, the midterms, and then moving forward until, the next election's coming up. What is the thing that we could do to continue the momentum we've had in terms of breaking the Democratic Party, getting black political power, holding it down for foundational Black American freemen, and truly uplifting us in a political fashion? I'll start with my brother Afro Lee, then Beat Zilla, and then Torian Reigns.
Okay. The first thing that we do is we have to keep playing the oppression Olympics. And I know that might seem like, oh, wow, why did he say that? I say that because what they've been getting away with is saying, well, all minorities really have the same problems. You guys are all, in the same boat. So when we say we'll do something for minorities, that's, that's doing something for everybody. And when we recognize that, okay, no, our problems are far more severe, and we have problems that you guys don't have at all. Like, for instance, the situation with Jackson, Mississippi, that we're just going through right now with the water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi. You don't see any other minorities going through those issues. You only see that happening in the FBA. So when we compare that stuff, we understand that we deserve more from our elected officials than all of these other groups do, but they receive more. Also calling that out. calling out every single time that they get something and they say they can't do anything specifically for us. Every hate bill, every legislation, every this, every that, we have to call that out. The situation with Ukraine, them sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, and you have people in actual America in Jackson, Mississippi, and they can't even have drinkable water, but you're shipping off billions of dollars to foreign lands. When we call that stuff out, that makes them look bad because they say, "Oh, you guys are just really too stupid to understand how politics work because we can only do this if we have the votes." They always try to blame it off on the next party. That's something that we're not letting them get away with too, because they say, "Oh, we just need more Democrats in Congress. That's why we can't do anything. We just don't have the votes for it." But you have the votes for everything else you want. Everything else you want, you have the votes for. But when it comes to us, oh my God, just Congress just won't let it go through. I'm sorry, guys. We tried. We're not accepting that anymore. And when we don't accept that, then that puts them in a bad position. It was like, oh man, we can do something. The fact that we in this era now, the fact that we've been calling out that they can do something and have been doing something for everybody else except us, that's what's making them look bad. Also, too, the divide and conquer strategy that they've been able to get away with for so long, that's not working. Like for instance, with Ketanji Brown Jackson, when they saw that we weren't really giving the feedback that they wanted with Ketanji Brown Jackson, they was all like, "Oh, it's just y'all just don't like a dark-skinned black woman. Y'all just don't like black women. It's just y'all colorist and y'all sexist." And then you had a whole bunch of dark-skinned sisters. They was all like, "No, we don't like her either." So then that messes the game up. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that they're not able to use that divide and conquer strategy with FBAs anymore, and the fact that we're calling out all the lie that they can't do anything unless they have all Congress and the president and everything, the lie that the excuses, I mean, that they make, we're calling out every single excuse that they make. And I'm gonna say this, I'm a land. For instance, in Chicago, you got a whole bunch of FBAs who are struggling in Chicago on the south side and on the west side. You got homeless FBAs out here, veterans even too. And now you have immigrants being shipped by the buses in the hundreds to Chicago. And you got the mayor talking about, let's have like a GoFundMe page so we can give resources to them. They're up in hotels and they're going to clinics and getting checkups and all of that stuff. And you got a homeless FBA person sleeping under a bridge. So, but the mainstream media is not going to call that out. CNN, NSNBC, they're not going to call that out. It's up to us to call that out. And that's what we're doing.
How you feel about that same situation, Brother Zilla? What can we do to go ahead and break that Democratic Party and just gain political power in the process?
Well, one of the things I see, especially here, where I'm at out here out west, a lot of these folks are so stuck. So this is one of those things that for a certain group of black people, which is unfortunately the older generation, that civil rights generation, what they do is they literally still make excuses. And when I say older civil rights generation, there are people my age and younger that still have that civil rights mind, that civil rights mentality. They are still stuck. A lot of these people ain't even that old. But that mentality to say, well, I don't care because they told me that Trump was bad. I mean, you literally heard every excuse in the book not to get nothing. And then over here, we have people who would literally say that we ain't never going to have a pro-black president. So, I mean, we just got to go ahead and do what we can do because I believe that the policies under Joe Biden would be so much better than Donald Trump. What policy is Donald Trump gave you that was harmful to the black community, where he said that these people come from whole countries? What does that have to do with us? He's keeping down immigration. You've seen way more stimuluses. Now we have these Democrats. They haven't delivered on anything. Now you got people coming out, well, we just got to change the messaging. No, you actually have to do something. Here's the problem. We got too many folks among us that are in love with what they have claimed to be a deity in the PC community. Like all of them are Jesus to these people. So I don't know. I only believe that we could go forward. I don't think we can save any of the people going backwards. We just have to move forward and teach our group and the next one's coming that this ain't the way. Because these people, truth be told, I think they just got to die off. So that's how we get people off the Democratic plantation. We need to get rid of our old Sambos. They got to go. So we just got to let them folks die off. But teach everybody now, get something for your vote. And everybody else who can't understand that, we're just going to leave in the dust. So that's how I see it.
How about you, my brother Torian?
Man, I'm mad you made me go last. They took all the good answers, all the good responses. Because it's kind of hard for me to like even go back against that because they pretty much hit on every possible point that you could when it comes to this situation. It's like I said, it's almost like they're under a spell. You know, it's almost like they're under a 60+ year spell that's still churning. It's some people that's kind of like, you know, coming to their senses and they're like starting to get a grasp, but it's still a long way to go. I keep, you know, thinking to myself, you know, November's not that far away. We are practically at the end of September. We have all of October, and then November, you know, that cycle will be here before we know it. So it's really like, I'm just curious to see how the results are going to turn out in November. I'm either going to be shocked or I'm not going to be surprised. It's one of those two with how the results are going to be when it comes to this. If I'm shocked, that means whatever it was we were doing was very effective. If I'm not surprised, I'm not going to say that whatever we doing wasn't effective, but it's just the nature and the mindset of the people that still are there mentally. I've always said that mental enslavement is more powerful than the physical. At least you can heal from physical wounds, but when someone gets inside of your mind and like mentally, it's almost like they're imprinting on you, then they have you forever or for as long as they feel that they need to. Or if you have the stronger mental capacity to break free from that, then it is what it is. Going back again to Tiffany Cross. That name's always going to crack me up. When she said what she said, when she was there with Roly Poly and those other two black men a couple days ago in that video, where they are now trying to leech on or to reach out to black men. I'm like, the same group that you never really cared to reach out to before, now is the one that you need. It's like first Stacey Abrams did it and now she's doing it. They're literally showing you right there. And in that moment, she contradicted to herself and even showed her contempt for black men, because she was saying in so many words, and I'm just paraphrasing, that why would you leave, you know, here and go and join your oppressor and everything like that? And I'm like, what makes you think that's what's happening? Like, what makes you think that's what we're actually, you know, going to do? It's just the fact that you're not listening. So we're just leaving you right where you at. But what got me with what she said was when she said that the black men need to get in line. When she said that, that's the part I think out of her little minstrel rant that I call it, that stuck out to me the most, when she said black men need to get in line behind black women. Notice what she said, get in line behind black women. Now, that's why Tiffany is going into my Blackaren series, amongst other things. But black women out here, the ones who have some sense, do not want to be leading their men. They want their men to be leading them, not the other way around. We see what type of time she's on. And for her to reference Roly Poly of all people, she already started off on the wrong foot with a red flag. That man will be led by the smell of any type of buffet bar he can find. And it doesn't matter where it's at. It could be down the street. It could be around the corner. It could be across the pond in another state, whatever. That's what he's being led by. But when she said that should have been a triggering point for black men in particular, because that's who she was gearing it towards. And then on top of her doing that tacky call out of Tariq and of Kevin Samuels, which I thought was just absolutely disgusting, because this man has been dead since May. You've never addressed him before, and he's not in a political arena. He talked about relationships. So why did you even bring him up? That made no sense. So that just shows you right there that whatever he said to his audience must have internally resonated with her. So she must have been one of them type of women he was talking about, but she never called into a show because she already knew she would have got embarrassed. But when she did that, I was like, that's exactly why a lot of black men are not voting Democrat anymore, because you're not listening. Now, instead of her focusing on, let's just hypothetically just throw a number out there. Instead of focusing on the 90% of the black men that would vote for Democrat, because when you look at those numbers, they make it seem like black women and black men's numbers in the Democratic Party as far as voting is a big margin, and it's not. It's very close. It's very close. It's not even a 10% gap. It's within 10%. But instead of her focusing on that, you want to chastise the 10% that are not lock in step with whatever rhythmless beat you're drumming on. And that's what I have a problem with. And I'm glad so many people are calling her out. But one thing I've always said when it comes to women like her is it's not enough for the black men to call her out. Of course, we're going to call her out because she called us out. But it's another when black women call her out. Because I'm telling you right now, whatever you could say to her would be way more effective than what we could say. Because what she's going to come back with, oh, you're being misogynistic. Oh, you're being anti-black woman. You're doing this, you're doing that. But when a black woman says that, she can't hit you with a misogynistic, because a woman cannot be misogynistic. She can't hit you with the anti-black woman because she's a black woman. So she can't hit you with that. She'll try, but she'll look foolish. I mean, she looks foolish either way. Big sister loudmouth, all that yelling. I'm like, calm down. You have a microphone. You don't have to make all that noise. We can hear you. We'd rather not, but we can hear you. And I'm gonna land right there.
Bro, hey, Brother Torian, did you say Karen?
Yes, Karen. That is, she falls into that category too. Karen. I remember I had some people get so mad at me when I had came up with that terminology. Like, black women can't be Karens. I said, watch me make it happen for those who deserve it. And now people are locked in, and then you look forward to them Karen videos. I said not every black woman falls into that category, but people like her and your Stacey Abrams and anyone else. Shoot, I threw Kamala the Chameleon in there, and she's the VP. So, and people, and the thing is with her, I had to put black in the Karen in quotations because you know she's not really, but I had to put the quotations in there, to make it work, because if I didn't do it, people were like, well, wait a minute, Torian, she's not black though. I said that's why I put in the black in Karen in quotations for her. She's like literally the first person I've ever had to do that for. So, but I mean, you understand why I had to do it. I almost changed the title up a little bit, but I was like, I don't want to make it too complicated. So let me just keep it like kind of basic, but make it stand out a little bit,
Hey, right here. Hey, classic. That is a new Black Media exclusive. You only get that with the new Black Media family. You ain't gonna get that with anybody else. That right there. But Clarence, put that down. Hey, so we had a Karen. We had Mammy Luther King Kong. We had Tiffany Cross-Eye, and I'm sure before this is over, we're gonna have about 7, 8 more. So this is what you get when you deal with the new Black Media.
Oh, I got another.
Give it to me.
I got another one, and this is one I came up with like a week or two ago. Unseasoningly, and I refer that to these people out here who just want to be walking out here being bland and just flavorless, just unseasoningly. You know, I forgot who I used it on. I had to be on some PC person that somebody was going in on, and I'm like, how are you just out here acting so unseasoning? Like, what is wrong with you?
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Hey, I'm right there with you, Zilla. Zilla over there rolling.
He's turning red over there.
Oh shit. New Black Media family. This is what you get. This is what you get. The roast is real. 24/7. Hey, hold on, man. I gotta get my answer, my question back. Hold on, family. All right, here we go. All right, reset. Here we are. Reparations, family. Reparations. Zilla over there rolling. I feel you, family. Reparations. In terms, we got to speak on reparations because this truly is, the landmark, the goal, the promise. You know what I'm saying? This is the main thing that we're on, what we deserve, our reparations claim. And you could tell that how poignant it is based upon once we started making our reparations claim, the aftershocks and the ramifications went across the whole world. Everybody came out of the woodworks. Basically, us making our reparations claim is like you winning the lotto. All of a sudden, your third, fourth, fifth cousin on your mama's left inside start calling. You feel me? They start saying, man, I'm your kinfolk from way, way, way back in the day. That's what happened. Folks that wanted nothing to do with foundational Black Americans, all of a sudden, they start ringing our phone, hitting us up, saying, come home, brother. We all Black. Everybody get along. You being divisive. None of that was going on until we start talking about reparations. Money will make a motherfucker change real quick. And you're starting to really genuinely see that with this reparations claim and how it has went across the whole world. That's why everybody has a bone to pick with foundational Black Americans. That's why everybody who has something to say about it yesterday is coming into our Twitter spaces. They're trying to act like us, walk like us, talk like us. They do that anyway, but now they really do it based upon money's involved. Big money. Folks are sitting on reparations panel that has nothing to do with them. You got folks that aren't even eligible for reparations that want to come on our panels. So there's been a lot that has went on this particular subject. The discourse has been real. I do appreciate all of my brothers and sisters who have been regulating that, because had we not did something in the Black grassroots, they was going to get everybody on them panels. They was letting every single person come on the panel. There wouldn't be one foundational Black American on the panel about reparations for foundational Black Americans. So the term lineage based, lineage strong, those are counter terms that we put out there to counter shit like flat Blackness and everything. So I want to ask you, brothers, about reparations as we get closer. And I know you said it before, Brother Afro. You say not if, when we get our reparations. And that's the thought process and the positivity that I love to hear, that we got to continue to radiate and permeate. Because when you got that defeated mentality, because everybody knows there's Black folks running around here right now saying, man, they's not ever going to give us that money now. We need to just stop and just go vote. That type of stuff. We got to get those people out the paint, which we have. We got to get all those come home brothers out the paint, which we have. We got to get all those, what's that dude, Cholo dude or whatever in Power 106. They don't deserve it. All that kind of stuff. We got to get them people out of the paint, because those are there to only stifle our reparations. They basically say, if we get the reparations and they're included, they might kind of be down with that. But if we get the reparations and they're not included, then they want to tear down the whole ship. It's that backstabbing culture. Our brother Jason Black, he said it before in TBA. He said 20 years ago, reparations was something nobody talked about. 10 years ago, reparations was something people laughed at. Now reparations is on the table, and political candidates are getting ran up on and they're getting talked to, and we want to know about these reparations, and we want to let them know that foundational Black Americans, we deserve it, we own it, and we will get it. So they're going to have to pick. Either they're going to be on the opposition side or they're going to be on the thorough side. And if they're not on that thorough side, they're going to get G-checked like the rest of the people who come at that sideways. So I'm going to start off with my brother Afro Elite, then I'm going to go to Torian Reigns, and then my brother Beat Zilla. I want to ask you guys about reparations, about some of the games that were being played, and just if you guys can just enlighten me on some of the opinions and some of the things you've seen, nothing in particular, just, across the board, as we get closer to our reparations, as we get closer to the bag, getting to the money, people are going to come out the woodwork, and we've been seeing it happen. So what should we do in terms of strategy and continuing the process of getting our reparations and cutting that goddamn check? No reparations, no vote. That's how we started. How do we go forward? Brother Afro, then Brother Torian, and then Brother Beatzilla. And Torian, I'm still laughing at the Blackaren, and I'm going to mute myself and laugh for a couple minutes, but I will be listening to the answers. Go ahead, family.
Okay. Thank you for that. I'm going to say, circling everything back around, this is the importance of knowing your history. Because when you know your history and you know what's owed to you, you're going to feel some type of way about it. You're going to feel some type of way about yourself and what's owed to you. That's like you finding out that you, like I said, have royal blood and you're a prince or a princess and the throne belongs to you. You're not just going to give that up. Now, before when you didn't know it belonged to you, you were just living your life like a average peasant. Now that you know, like, oh, that throne belongs to me. Oh, I'm not letting nobody else sit on that then. So every time we see somebody else get some money, we're like, hey, that's my money you giving to them. This is my country. Every bit of money that we're seeing go to anybody else, we're like, hey, that belongs to me. That hate crime bill belongs to me. Those reparations, that benefit, that all of that belongs to me. That's how you feel when you know about your history. So that's one of the good things that we're doing. We're learning about our history. We're doing our lineage. We're finding where our people like really come from too. Another thing that we're doing that's very beneficial is, like I said before, the vetting process that we're doing. Before, like you said with the panel, anybody could just come on board and speak on reparations. Now you got to get your paperwork checked to speak on reparations at period. And that's one of the best things that we can do, because you'll have a whole bunch of tethers come in and be all like, I do not think we deserve reparations. I do not think that. I think we need to work hard, go to school, and that is it. And then we're sitting up there like, you don't need to be sitting at this table at all anyway. So whatever you have to say about it is irrelevant. We're so thorough with it now that the second we hear it's like we got spider senses. The second we hear something that's a little bit off, we are like, where are your people from? The second we hear something that's slightly questionable, like, what country are your people from? And we're right 9 times out of 10. They're not foundational. 9 times out of 10, like, and it's so bad now they're scared to say it. They were like, Haiti. Oh, okay, yeah, I figured that. I figured that. Okay, well, you can step out. You can step out. It's so bad they're hiding their flags in their bio now. That it's so bad that when we ask, where are your people from? They New York. No, where are your grandparents from? Uh, Texas? No, man. Like we know what it is. We know what it is. You better tell the truth now. That's how thorough we're getting with the vetting process. So once we start vetting all of the naysayers and the tethers in our reparations conversation, and we start having empowerment conversations about it, and then going to the politicians with it, there's nothing that they can do. See, that's the benefit of us kind of cutting the ties with the Pan-African thing, because we were letting way too many people in the room that shouldn't have been in there. So now that we're saying, hey, you need to be verified to even be in this conversation, that cuts out a whole lot of stuff. So that's what we need to keep doing. Even if they are cool with it, and shout out to the ones that do support, the non-FBAs that do support us getting our reparations. Even those people, they're not going to be the representatives of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing too.
How do you feel about that, brother Torian Reigns?
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly with everything Afro just said. I'll even add on to this. If you are FBA and you out here saying you don't want reparations, I'm going to kindly ask for your cut now before the checks get cut. That way you can't circle the wagon back when the checks do get cut and say, oh, where's mine at? Nope. We're going to stamp it and mark it down on this date at this time. You said this and that you didn't want it, and you were signing your cut over to me. I think it's absolutely ridiculous when people who actually can have something come their way want to give it up. And I don't know for what reason. Is it some kind of morality issue, or I don't know what it is. It's weird to me. But when it comes to, reparations and tangibles, we know what we're asking for. We know why they keep bringing up all these studies and all types of stuff, while these other groups can literally just get money hand over fist like it's nothing, and they claim that they don't have it. We know that they have it. We know that they have it. If you can give all this money to Brett Favre, who does not need it, while Black people are down in Jackson, Mississippi, suffering with contaminated water. And you give this man whose net worth is like $140+ million to build a volleyball complex. You have it. If you can find a way to weasel $250 million out of a pandemic food relief fund meant for children, and it broke down to 47 people over the course of a couple of years, you have it. If you can send billions of dollars constantly overseas to that nation that begins with a U, I'll just leave it like that, you have it. So to sit up here and say that you don't have it, you're sitting up here and you're literally lying to our face and just expect us to just be okay with the lie. At least with Kamala the Chameleon, she was upfront with it when they asked her, "What do you what's your take on reparations?" And she came out and said that she can't do anything specifically for Black people. At least she was honest about it. So I will give her that regard. If I don't give her anything else, I'll give her that. But these other ones out here saying, "Oh, we can't do it right now because of this, oh, we got to do a study." We're tired of studies. The studying is over. We're not science experiments. We're not projects. We are human beings. We are people. We have stuff that we need to happen right now. We are financially eons behind everyone else. And even people who are coming over here illegally are getting set aside. Like Afro said, the people that are being bused in Chicago, they're literally being held up in nice hotels, getting the like nice phones and whatnot. Like they're literally like making a place for them. And what they're going to end up saying, oh, that we built something or that we work hard with what? Bob the Builder works harder than you do. Are you kidding me? It's kids that can build statues out of Legos that are working harder than you. And you're going to just come over here and say that you are this very extremely hard worker and then think you're going to get what, or try to get a piece of what is owed specifically to us, until you have an ancestry that has put in the groundwork on this foundation known as the US for 400+ years, while enduring all the mental and physical anguish, plus anything after that and stuff that got destroyed post chattel slavery, plus all the redlining, all of the Jim Crow, all of the civil rights, even the bombings. Let's not just talk about Tulsa. Let's talk about MOVE. That happened in 1985. That's less than 40 years ago. That's 4 years older than me. And they dropped a duffel bag of C4 on a Philadelphia neighborhood. Until you've gone through all that, plus what was that in the 90s? 3 strikes, stop and frisk, and a host of other things that has happened to us in the past and current and present day, and whatever they got lined up for us in the future, because they always have something lined up for us for the next 10 years. They got a whole 10, 20, 30+ plan for us, even after we're gone. They always like thinking ahead. Until you have gone through all of that, you are not getting a thing. And here's the thing. They've even done studies where it said how the economy could actually benefit if they paid reparations. Like they said, if they had just paid what they owed, this economy could get a whole lot better, because they already know Black people's spending habits. We are some of the biggest consumers. They know that that's what it worked, but the problem is their pride and their ego will not allow them to allow us to either be on the same playing field as them or even exceed them. Because at the end of the day, what is it Richard Spencer had told Roly Poly that time he went on his show? White supremacy is about winning at all costs. We don't care how we get there, just as long as we cross that finish line with a W. As long as we cross that checkered flag, that checkered line in first place, That is all that matters. And we do not care who we have to take out, take on, or step over in order to get it. If a group of people will do that to their own people, what makes you think they're not going to do it to you? It's going to be too easy. We just have been their biggest adversaries for so long. Even with all the stuff that we've been put through, you know, thanks to them and all types of stuff and all the agendas and everything like that, and we're still here. They are very, very upset and very mad and butthurt about that. Until all these other groups that are trying to lay claim to whatever it is that we are trying to get, until they go through all of that, they have no say in our tangibles. They have no say in our reparations. Oh, and this is I'm gonna say this one last thing. The pocket watching or saying how, oh, when we get reparations, I don't know why they gonna get it, because they gonna spend it on this. How do you know? So you just assume every black person is just bad with money. Have you seen what some of these politicians spend their money on? Scratch that, because the one that I just talked about, the $250 million that was supposed to be going to a pandemic food relief fund for kids, 47 people got charged with that. You got to think about that. 47 is a very small amount for them to have $250 million spread amongst them. I mean, they was spending it on trips, cars, homes. Now, you take all of that into consideration, and you come back and you tell me who's worse with spending money. And let's be clear here. They were spending someone else's money, not money that they earned, not money that they were owed. When you have to write in fake names of kids to get money sent to you in shell accounts, you talk to me, then you come back and tell me who's lazy and who is not. And I'm gonna land right there.
Big facts all the way across the board. Beatzilla, I want to hear your opinion on that as well. Y'all brothers is cooking, real time cooking. Everybody out there, if you could subscribe to everybody right here, follow our YouTube channels, follow us on Twitter, all platforms, leave a like before you leave. Salute to the whole family. Brother Beatzilla, what do you got to say about that? Because Afro and Torian just dropped some real fire, and I know you got some as well.
Well, you know, one thing about the reparations issue, for me, I don't include people that don't belong in certain conversation. So I don't ever understand how some of these panels get made that have these non-foundational Black Americans on it. It doesn't really make sense to me, because it's like, well, if I'm talking family business, I'm not going to ask my neighbor who is not part of my family to come participate in how we go forward. That just doesn't make sense to me. So right off the rip, I wish more people would adopt that. Adopt cutting out unnecessary hangers on, because you are going to start to learn that a lot of these people, although their place in society with being your friend or being associated with you, it's kind of political cachet for them. Now, if your position changes due to reparations, they no longer get to look at you and feel superior. So all of the other things that they harbor, the inner jealousy about our looks, the inner jealousy about our talent, the inner jealousy about our spirit, now they would actually have to see it on an economic level, which no longer allows you to lie to yourself. So you would see these people start turning real quick. Just like I've seen a situation here. Black folks was looking at getting the state was talking about doing kind of a a Black business surplus. And one of the Mexican ladies that is in our city that has often came and attached herself to different political functions that I was involved in, I told these people, she is not cool. Well, as it turns out, she, knowing that all of her people that she uses to platform off of were going to get some extra money to help them along and their community, she went to the Steelworkers Union. And you know we ain't there. So she got a whole bunch of these January 6ers types to go bombard the Capitol to stop our money because it was unconstitutional. Now, this woman has been around getting all kind of grants, based on this BIPOC coalition. So when I see this reparations thing, we are now moving into a space, and I say this all the time. What we have done is made being the descendant of a slave the coolest thing on earth. Let's see, 20 years ago, there's black folks that didn't even want to identify as black. Oh, I'm this, I'm there, trying to be all exotic. So for me, watching this reparations become real, you just noticing everybody that really wasn't with us in the first place, because they have a social feeling towards us that is based off of class. And what we're talking about is our class changing. But we never should have been in this position to begin with before all of these people were allowed to come here. So I just say, hey, man, we going to stand on our reparations claim. Y'all can't go to the bank with us. Shout out to everybody who rides with us and rocks with us. Salute to y'all. But when it's check cashing time or depositing it into the account, sorry, that's only going to have my name and my wife's name on it. Same as my son's. So, that's how that's going to ride. So, so yes, we just got to go ahead and protect our claim, because we see a lot of these people coming out the woodwork talking about how we need to share our reparations. We having political movies with agendas trying to separate black men and women. So we just got to tighten up the reins. That's how I see it. You know what I mean, brother? Man, that's my take on it.
Yes, indeed. I agree wholeheartedly. So basically, you guys said cut the check, and cut the check. And if you ain't FBA, you cannot get in on it. That's a real one right there. Over the Queen. The same people who are out here supporting Woman King, the same people who are out here, trying to tether themselves in, those are the same individuals. Reparations. So the movement that we got going on right now, I tell everybody, if you upset today, you're going to be really pissed off tomorrow, because the reparations movement is getting stronger and stronger, and we're all at the forefront of it, and we're all, putting it down in the real, most genuine way. Now, the last question I want to ask everybody, and like I said, man, salute to all of my brothers right here on the panel. These are my constituents. These are my brothers I work with. We put it down, and like I said, this is a new era. If people, back in the day had a plan, or they wanted this to, come true, this is finally coming true, and it's really happening in the real correct fashion. So I got to extend a big salute to my brothers right here who are participating in it. One thing I do want to say, though, in a real, genuine, true to life fashion, is that we are the dreams of our ancestors, and we're the nightmares of the dominant society. The reason why the Martins and the Malcolms and the Hueys and the Bobbies and the, Erica Huggins and the Kathleen Cleavers and the Sada Shakors, the reason why they caught so much hell, because they was trying to prevent them from doing what we're doing right now today. And the very fact that we're doing it right now today shows everybody that we coming up with some real good, genuine, sincere things. So they're going to have to really feel us. I want to ask this question to you guys, because this has been one hell of a year. I want to ask you guys, what do you feel was, the most important thing that went on this year? And then what do you feel is going to be the next thing that goes on, so we can start the new one off with a bang? But I want to ask that question first, because I have Kid Gravity that made it to the stage, and I want to salute brother Kid Gravity. Family, I want you to go ahead and, go ahead and put in that work, family. You ain't even got to just answer that question. Say whatever you want to say, family, and put in that work, brother, because we've been waiting on you.
I'm not gonna stay long. I'm still on the plantation, so I got a little low. But I want to. I've been listening the whole night, so some people ain't get their food on time because I was listening and I wasn't paying attention. But I like what y'all were talking about today. Yeah, y'all got, folk. We got about 6 weeks left before people run out to these polls and decide the fate of black people, because that's what this whole midterms is about, the fate of black people. I said this back in 2020. If we mess this up, we might as well give away our right to vote because y'all just not using it right. And we have to watch how people are talking, especially with this reparations talk, because now everybody's talking about it. Even now, the Republicans they have it in their chambers talking about it. They're gonna start talking about it. So they understand what this conversation is and how to get Black people to a certain point where they think we're not going to be a threat anymore. Because for some reason, people think, okay, y'all give up the reparations. All right, cool. There's still other problems we're gonna have to face. But what's going to end up happening is once you guys get your reparations, you think it's bad now. It's not. It's going to be worse because everybody's going to start acting like they were like y'all and peace and we all the same me guys and all that. Nah, the plan is to make sure you stay on code and like you guys have been doing, delineating away from who is not for the betterment of Black people in America. And if what happened what was it yesterday with that funeral, with everybody sitting there saying, "Hey, Queen Elizabeth died, but I'm still going to mourn her, even though she subjugated my people for 70 years. We don't care." And then they see us saying, "Hey, we're not lionizing this woman. It's a Monday. We got other fish to fry." They get upset. They talk about this woman king. People are still coming on my channel and telling me that I'm wrong because I said I'm not going to go see because it glorifies slavery. And they're saying that that's not what happened in the movie. Yet one of the producers and the lead actress said that the story was fictionalized, which means they took liberties with the story. They changed the story around. But of course, these are the people that don't do research. So it's incumbent on us as new Black media to make sure we educate those who are willing to learn. And I think once 2022 ends, I think 2023 has got to be the year that we have to take those who are ready to learn and ready to follow the code. We got to take them with us and leave everybody behind. And if they come and say whatever they want to say or put up fucking tallies of, hey, if you get blocked by this person, you get this many points, cool. I'll take that. But I'm going to start ignoring you. That should be the code word for 2023, ignore. Because we got problems that we have to face and we got children to look after. And these people obviously don't give a damn. It's all about them. So cool. Leave them to their own devices. We go help who we need to go help. And let me get back on this plantation because white folk looking at me right now.
Salute to you, brother. Hey, it wouldn't have been a mashup without you, family. I was hoping you came through, man. You know, I appreciate you. Black first all day, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Y'all have a good night.
You too, fam. Stay safe. To my brothers right here on the panel, Torian, Afro, and Zilla, like we said, we've all came through this year together, the Black grassroots, we built together, we work together. As I always say, ballers gonna ball, haters gonna hate, builders gonna build, fleers gonna flee. And we've been sitting down, holding it down like we've always done, loyal to the soil, true to the turf, representing, as you said, brother Afro Elite, our FBA royal blood that we got in us that no one else has, that the world, really hates on, because you hate on what you cannot be. And obviously they cannot be us. This year started off with a bang. We've all grown, we've all evolved. The movement is strong. A lot of people don't know this, but that picture that you see of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X when they were talking, no one ever knows what was really said. They just see the picture and the photo where they were smiling together. One of the things that they said, Malcolm X told Martin, he said, the movement is ever so changing. Things are evolving. Minds are evolving. We got to ride the wave and we got to stay true. If anybody heard my Black Alpha intro when I very first made it for this channel, I said we're going to always ride the front line wave. We're not going to play the background. We're going to be on the front, bringing the content, bringing the real, bringing the truth to our people. That is what Brother Malcolm told Brother Martin. As well, a lot of people don't know this, is Martin Luther King passed away in 1968. The Black Panther Party started in 1966. 2 weeks before Martin Luther King Jr. passed, he made a phone call to the Black Panther headquarters in Oakland, California. He was putting together a summit of all young people. And his direct words were, if he can win the hearts and minds of those folks in California that represented the new wave of the civil rights era, because the first wave was, the Martins and the Malcolms. That was the 60s. They never made it to the 70s. The 70s was the Huey Newtons, the Bobby Seals, the H. Rap Browns. Martin Luther King is on record saying if he could reach the hearts and minds of those young folks, he said victory will be swift and easy. And that's the same thing that I see us doing today, because we are our ancestors' dream. We are the dominant society's nightmare. And I love being the dream of our ancestors. And I love being the dominant society's nightmare, because them motherfuckers going to be waking up in cold sweats fucking with this right here in the new Black media. So as I give that history lesson and I put things in a historical perspective in terms of, categorically breaking it down and where we stand, because we are all playing our role in this movement. Everybody's done it. There was, back in the day, there was somebody out there playing the role that you playing, Zilla, playing the role that you playing, Torian, playing the role that you playing, Afro, playing the role I'm playing. There was black people in 1922, in 1822, 1722, 1622. Go back, because this is our country. There was always somebody playing the role that we're playing right now. We're just doing it with our style, with our grace, and putting it down in our special way. So to pass the baton, to the next generation, it starts right here, right now. No time to waste. They wasted all that time on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. I'm sorry, y'all had to do that. They was getting their ass whooped on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. I'm sorry, y'all had to do that. And they was getting fucked up on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. I'm sorry, y'all had to do that. We don't go for that. So I tell people, if you don't like foundational Black Americans before, you're going to hate us now, because we're going to give you something to hate, and that is excellence. This year is coming to an end. This is the last quarter of the year. We're going to go into the new quarter. This year has been about Twitter Spaces, Tethers popping up, Fleers popping up, new terms, new terminologies, laws being made, democratic benign neglect, and we've handled it all well. What do we do right now to handle what we're living in now, so we can make it a boom for next year? Because the journey don't stop. The work has to be done. And we, ladies and gentlemen, listening in the chat, and two of my brothers right here, we are the ones who are going to do the work. I remember having a space one time and a guy called in and he said, y'all doing God's work. That's what a brother said. Is the elder. What are we going to do right now, family, in terms of the Black grassroots and keeping this thing going? Because when I look at the situation, we're the one that is the play. So we're uplifting our brothers and sisters. When they down, we're picking them up. Moving forward to this era, and I'm going to pass it to you, Brother Torian, and then you, Afro, and then B Zilla. And this will be the the last question before we wrap it on up and this new Black Media bosses table, because we some bosses. How do we move forward? How do we stay strong? And how do we stay on code? And I'll let you start that off, Brother Torian Reigns.
I would say that whatever, I always say, like, never reinvent the wheel, even though our wheel has constantly been redone, reinvented, and all types of ways. Like, we could never just stay on just like one path, because this is like a lot of moving parts with us. But I think we have finally found something that is working. Of course, there's always going to be room for improvement. It's always going to have some tweaks that needs to be made, but that's just how life is, because nothing moves in a straight line. But I think we have a formula that is working and that is being very effective. If we are in a position now where mainstream media outlets are picking up on what it is that we're talking about, to the point where we're even trending. Like, I remember, what was it, last month, where reparations was trending like every day. Like, it was trending every day. And that's very rare, because it's like one thing, you get it trending one time, it is what it is. That's just, it caught the algorithm. But the fact that it was trending like multiple days, and that's across the nation, which means everyone can see it. That means whatever it is that we're doing is being effective, and it's definitely working. So whatever it is that we're doing right now, I would say continue to do it, because people are watching. There are eyes watching out there, whether they hate us or love us or whatever the case may be, they're watching. So what we have going on right now is definitely going to be very effective going forward into this last quarter and going into next year, and it's only going to amplify from here. We, at this point of the game, we can only go up, we can only go higher. Like, we have come so far to the point where we're not even looking back. Like, there's nothing back there. Whatever is back there is just going to have to stay there. Whether it's people, whether it's problems, whether it's issues, we're all about progressing and moving forward, because anything that's back there is back there for a reason. You don't want to look for, don't go far back into your past unless it is to learn about it. But whatever is back there is dead. It's dead energy. It's negative energy. We're moving forward to just positive vibes. Whatever we have going on at one point in time, just leave it where it's at and keep moving forward. That's really all we can do at this point, and we're bringing as many people along with us as we possibly can. And shout out to the new Black media. Like, it's crazy how far even that has come. You know, it's very refreshing when you can go on Twitter and you have people leave tweets out and saying, who are some people who talk about certain things that I can follow, and to see your name get tagged in there with a group of other people, and just knowing that your voice is very heavily supported and that people vibe with whatever it is that you have to say. Granted, I can honestly say, you know, I can speak for myself. I don't have all the answers. It's going to be some things that I'm going to slip up on. And because I don't go around claiming to know everything, you know, anyone that says they claim to know everything, you know, like you never stop learning. You know, there's always going to be more stuff out there. So I can admit that I'll make mistakes even in the commentaries that I do make, and you know it is what it is. But the fact that people are still there and they're still listening is definitely a rewarding experience. And the same thing with the other three men on this panel. It's a reason why you've been put out there. It's a reason why people mention you. It's a reason why you're held into some kind of high regard. It's because people respect what it is that you have to say. You are a voice for them, because not everyone has the ability or wants the ability to actually say what it is that they want to say. So they're using you as a vessel. Because the one thing I've always said is that when it comes to this, I've always felt that we needed more people in this space to actually say what needs to be said without cutting any corners and without holding any punches. And, you know, this can sometimes feel like it can be lonely, even though, granted, there's other people that are out there who are doing the same thing or talking about some of the same things. But sometimes, like I said, it can feel like it's like you're out there on a limb by yourself, because it's like, am I saying the right thing? Is this going to reach the right people? Like, how are people going to receive what it is that I'm saying? But not to toot my own horn, but to toot my own horn a little bit. It wasn't easy getting 50K. That was a very hard achievement for me, especially when you think about the stuff that we talk about in this space. It's not hard. I mean, it is hard. You know, you got to think about, you're on a platform that can literally, you know, snatch everything away from you in an instant if they wanted to. You're on a platform where it can, you know, restrict you or keep people from saying what it is that you have to say, because something you say may have triggered the algorithm to go against you. So, you know, I would just simply say that what we have going on now, just keep it going. No need to try to do anything else than what we already doing, because it's definitely working. It's definitely catching a lot of people's attentions, whether they want the best for us or want the worst for us. It is what it is. If they want the worst for us, then that's their own hang up as far as I'm concerned. If they want the best for us, I'm glad that you are around and you're riding the wave, because we're just moving forward from here. And that's all I have to say.
Appreciate that, brother Torian. Real facts. How about you, my brother Afro Elite?
Well, just like how Torian said, being consistent, you have to be consistent. But I want to say one of the things moving forward is realizing that we are all we have. This is it. We don't have the backing of some type of billion-dollar corporation or some type of celebrity politician. We don't have the backing of that. We don't even have the backing of majority of the society. We only have each other. We're our only backup. You know what I'm saying? I'm on here. I got the camera. I got a microphone, and I'm saying what needs to be said. But it wouldn't matter if I didn't have the support of the people who watch the content. That's the backing that I need. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a Afro Elite channel. There wouldn't be anything. It would just be me giving my opinions that nobody cares to listen to. But the fact that I have the support of the people who listen, that carries the message. Now the message is reaching politicians. Now the message is reaching mainstream media, and now reparations is trending because everybody is doing what they can to support. That's one of the things that we are realizing going forward. This year, I feel like we've learned that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. You will have some people who will stab you in the back the second they get the opportunity, but then you will have people who will ride with you all the way up until the end. We're like soldiers, and we've all taken an oath to this. So that way, when I see um you, Tori, and B Zilla, when I see you guys on live, even if I'm like out, and even if I can't um be in there, I'm gonna still just leave a like. I'm gonna just leave a like, and then I'm gonna maybe come back later and watch the rest of the content when I get a chance to. But I'm gonna leave a like to support it as soon as I see it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of times if you guys um like have your notifications on, I'll leave a like before you guys even go live. You know what I'm saying? Because that stuff helps. You know, every single thing I can do to help, I do that to help, and I see that in a lot of my subscribers and a lot of the followers, and this is what we do to help lift each other, be like the wind beneath our wings. That's what the FBA family is about, you know, and that's what we got to keep doing consistently going forward. And that's my take on it.
Always love. How about you, my brother B Zilla?
You know, I just have to co-sign what the brothers have already laid down, man. One of the things going forward is the consistency thing. And I definitely have to also agree. It's without the support of the people who enjoy and absorb our content, um, it would make no point. You know what I'm saying? So we just be up here with a mic and a camera with nobody in the chat. So it helps that we are able to bounce off each other from all of our different audiences. Because, you know, I'll be, you know, as I'm watching you guys as different broadcasters, I'm just watching, you know, watching the chat. Because I'll be here at the crib, you know, I'm watching on the TV. So I'm like, oh, man, yo, the people who support New Black Media, y'all are a breath of fresh air. I mean, you really are. Just to read y'all comments, see the different witty things y'all say, knowing that y'all enjoy the content. And like my brother Alpha said, brother came in and told us that we was doing God's work. All I could say is like, and then yesterday, the sister came in there and said, we are her celebrities. That's big, folks. That's really big. And what's going on now is people haven't been able to like really reach out and touch the personalities that they see on TV. This time is different. So as we move forward with our plans, our agenda, really, really, really truly embracing our greatness. But look at it this way. We are all we got, just us. But we are great enough to take on the world. And that's all I can say, man, is power to y'all and keep your foot on the gas. Can you dig it, brother?
Yes, I can. Dig that all the way, family. Dig that all the way. Salute to everybody in the chat. A comment was made that they love how we stick together, and that comment made me smile because we do stick together. We always ride for each other. This is real, genuine FBA excellence. We dispel all of those myths that they say about foundational Black Americans. We don't get along. We hate each other. No, we are brothers, okay? Real certified brothers. We got real certified sisters, and we stand together, not separate, together as one. And everybody knows it, and we're really leading by example. And that's the most beautiful thing about what we're doing here in the New Black Media, because we got a lot of people, you know, our age, but man, you know, there's a lot of young folks that are watching us. And now they're seeing that Black excellence. To go back to what you gentlemen were saying in the beginning, is that this is, you know, an accessible era where we have the media, and now we can show people that whenever they're trying to say that, you know, we can't get along and we're feuding and fighting, that's a small group. That is not the main denominator. The main denominator is love, it's peace, love, and it's reparations. We call each other brothers and sisters, kings and queens, goddess and gods. We call each other family. This is a foundational Black American family tree, and we are all a part of it together as one. And nobody can ever take that away from us. They can outspend us, they can't outbuild us, and we will continue to build. Like my brother Afro Elite said, he said, kings build kings, queens build queens, and then we all build together as one. And that's the most beautiful thing about this. And everybody's going to have to continue to deal with it, because I truly believe this is the best era to ever be alive if you a foundational Black American. It's not just because of us, it's because of the people in the past. They, they put us on this level to where we can succeed. That is our luxury. So I'm glad that we're here now. I'm gonna spin it around you guys so you can say, one last piece, and then I'll give my final thought, and then we'll bring it back home. I'll go in reverse. Beatzilla, Afro, and Torian Reigns.
Well, in closing, let me first also shout out my brother's Queen Alpha, who always is in the background holding down things, and of course, shout out to my queen, and everybody in the chat. Everybody, of course, all my brothers here, Afro, Torian, and of course, our host Black Alpha and Kid Gravity Beyond, who are actually able to sneak out for a minute and hop in. All of y'all who have been supportive of this movement and have taken your rightful place in authority, shout out to you. And shout out to all of y'all. Once again, congratulations to my brother Torian Rain, because like he said, when you talk this Black empowerment, they are absolutely enemies to you, whether you know it or not. So keep trucking, family, and we're gonna keep on doing what we do. It's reparations now. We still boycotting this damn woman king, and it's no tangibles, no vote. Black first, Black first, Black first.
It's all on you, brother Elite.
Well, first off, I want to thank you for having this, for setting this up. This was your idea. I want to thank you again. This is really great content right here. I want to thank everybody who's watching it. You know what I'm saying? This is the type of empowerment that we need. We need clarification. We need somebody who's saying what they need to say the way people need to hear it. You know what I'm saying? We're very intelligent brothers, but we're able to simplify our message in a way that can be digested by the masses. You know what I'm saying? We don't try to act boule. We don't try to act better than everybody. We are just like everybody. We just, are the ones who have the voice right now. We're just the ones speaking for the people at the moment. But we're saying what everybody wants to say, what everybody is thinking. So I want to thank everybody for listening. You know, doing this, I hope that first off, and not that I hope, this is not going to be the last time we do this. It's definitely going to be, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep the pressure on because we are winning. We have to understand that we've, like our brother Torian said, we're eons behind in wealth, in our reparations, in everything like that. We're way behind the eight ball, but we're catching up in a much faster speed than anybody could have really even imagined. We have politicians running away now. They're skiing or running away when we ask them about reparations. That's how much they fear us. So we're keeping the pressure on. We're motivating people to go out there and do the work, whether they're inside the house or outside the house. Everybody is participating, and that's a beautiful thing. So I want to thank you again, Black Alpha, for having this.
Appreciate that, family. It's all you, Torian.
Well, first off, let me also thank you, Black Alpha, for putting this together. I mean, when you had said that you was putting this together, I was like, yes, definitely. I wanted to be a part of this. I feel like I'm being a part of history, and this is a historical moment right here. We are in a history making moment right now. Like years from now, they're going to be talking about this. It may not make the history books of the public schools of America, but it's going to be in somebody's books. I don't care if it's carved in stone, like the 10 Commandments. But I'm just glad that we was able to have this discussion in a very, I guess you could say, intimate, professional setting. And also I was going back and forth, but looking at the chat to see the responses that they were giving, and I'm glad that the chat was vibing with us and playing off of us, because like I said, we do it for y'all. This isn't for us. Like when we come on here and we make these videos and these commentaries and these lives, this is us speaking to you. This is not us in an echo chamber talking to each other. Otherwise, we wouldn't be live right now. Then we would just be talking amongst each other. And that's no fun because we talk amongst each other all the time. So I'm glad that we was able to have this discussion on, just various topics, and how we pretty much, it's like a meeting of the minds. Like we all pretty much are on the same wavelength, but a lot of times you want to see if there's any kind of differences there as well. And if there's some kind of resolution there at the same time, and it's also handled in a very professional and adult like manner. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'd be tapped out with them Twitter spaces. Like I'm telling you, for those of you who are not on Twitter and you've never been in those Twitter spaces before, it's way, way, way more intense than this. And this isn't even intense. So this is like really light work compared to those Twitter spaces. People ask me, Torian, are you ever going to host a Twitter space? I said, no, I don't have the patience to do it. Because I'm like when I'm just sitting sometimes listening in the background and hearing people do it, then, and how sometimes it just can go completely left field. That's why I really tip my hat off to these three men right here, and even Kid Gravity, because out of all of us, I'm the only one that has not, and most likely will not, have the patience to do a Twitter space, because I know how people are. And I'm the type of person that's like, look, like if you got out of line one time, I'll probably be the one that like shut the space down right then and there, because I know sometimes I can probably get a little bit reckless. I mean, for those who have watched the Triple P's and the Rage videos, know sometimes I can get a little bit out there. So I have to contain myself, and I'm not trying to like, hurt anybody's feelings. So definitely, again, shout out to you, Black Alpha. But I do want to acknowledge a person. Have y'all ever noticed that Roly Poly, whenever someone is talking to him and interviewing him, and someone mentions something about black media, he always has to come back and say the real black media? Have y'all noticed that's like a dig at us? Like he always says it with some inflection in his voice, like he's supposed to be, I don't know, hurting our feelings or whatever the case may be. I just be sitting there saying to myself, it's like, you gotta like really, you really just trying to like, you really thought you did something. You really thought you was moving mountains when you said that. But I mean, I guess if that makes you sleep well at night, then so be it. But yeah, shout out to the new black media. We are here to stay. We are like a fortress. You can try to move us, but we ain't budging.
Salute to my brothers right here on this panel. These are always great to, convene with my brothers. We're not putting on a show. We're not fronting. We're not acting. We are really close. We're really tight. And we all communicate, behind the scenes, in front of the camera, no matter which way. We're always dealing with each other the same way everybody in the chat. It's like one big family tree. It's an FBA, It's like a block party when we all get together. It's like your family reunion. There's so much FBA love. There's so much FBA energy that the world is forced to see it. And they're forced to deal with it. And they're going to have to continue to be forced to deal with it because we do not stop. One thing I always say, especially when it comes to my brothers right here on this panel, I learn from each and every one of you guys. And that's the beauty of this whole family trees. We sit here, we tweet out, we have, our shows, our spaces, we support each other. I've been in each and every one of you guys' chats, and I'm telling you, man, that should be like a fucking party. Everybody just being words, people talking, and it be, Friday night, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, it don't even matter. During the summertime, I was lit. I was like, man, I ain't going to the movies. I ain't going out. I'm about to hop in one of my brother's feeds right here, chill out, tweet away, talk, leave comments, and we just gonna have a good time, man, and it'd be good. Queen Alpha be right there. And by the way, Queen Alpha, love you. Tell Maya and Josh, say what up. I'm about to pull up, and chill with my brothers. And that's like makes my night, that makes my day. Whenever, I ever, reach out to my brothers and ask them, are they down for something? I always get a yes ASAP. And I try to do the same thing in return so we can really genuinely show everybody that this is a FBA family tree. This is foundational Black American love, and foundational Black Americans stand together. We don't stand away from each other. We stand together. So one thing I want to say in closing is that when we get here together and we're all on the same time and we're all in the same space, let's go and take that out in the real world. Let's show everybody out there that we are strong, we are family, we are a unit, and there's nothing anybody can do to stop us. This started years ago, and we're continuing, and we're going to keep on push forward, and we do it by standing next to each other. That is all of the brothers. That is all the sisters, all of the kings, the gods, and the goddesses. That's my brother Torian Reigns. That's my brother Afro Elite. That's my brother Beatzilla, all of their family, everybody out there, my brother Kid Gravity, and everybody in the chat. Let's keep doing what we do, and it's just the beginning. If they did not like us yesterday, they're going to hate us tomorrow, and if they hate us tomorrow, they're going to hate us even more the next day. Because one thing foundational Black Americans do is we run the yard, and everybody knows what time it is. So with that said, I appreciate everybody for pulling up. I love everybody with a passion. That's real love. That's not that L-U-V. No, that's L-O-V-E. That's that real with the exclamation point on the end of it, because that's how we do things, and that's how we get down. You guys stay safe, stay strong, stay vigilant. I wish everybody good health. I hope all of your families in good health. Stay laser focused, eyes on the prize. We're going to get to that bag. We're going to get to the check, and anybody who gets out of line, they're going to have to deal with us FBA style. So with that said, I'm going to leave everybody with what I always leave everybody with. Remember, every single day you wake up, that Black is beautiful, and beautiful is always Black.
I don't care what y'all
family.
I don't care what y'all think. If you whatever the fuck you think you are, and until we own some shit, I'ma call it like it is. How you gonna be a man and we starving? Go ahead. You know? And you can walk by 5 different houses, ain't a man in either one of them motherfuckers. How we gonna be a man? How we gonna be African Americans? We out here dying. We thugs and we niggas until we set this shit right. Trust me when I tell you that shit.